Welcome to the EduMagic New Educator Podcast, the go-to show for supporting new educators navigating the exciting journey from campus to the classroom. Join your host, Dr. Sam Fesich, for a blend of inspiration, advice, and practical strategies, one cup of coffee at a time.
I'm Anne, co-host of Transparency in Teaching, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Hey there, EduMagicians. I'm back with another episode about AI, and today I'm going to be demonstrating 3 EdTech AI-infused tools that you can use to engage students in learning. So without further ado, we're going to jump right in. The first one we're going to check out is Diffit, D-I-F-F-I-T. And what this tool does, it creates leveled resources based on content you provide it. So when you get into Diffit for teachers, you can create a free account and you can choose, do you want it to create a leveled resource on any topic? You type in the topic. Do you want it to create a leveled resource on a specific article? Or do you want it to create a resource based on text that you copy and paste, or you can upload a PDF? So we're going to start with the get leveled resources, and it has the first option is literally anything. Search for a topic, term, or question. Be as specific as possible. So I'm going to type in coral reef, and you can choose an approximate reading level, and it goes from 2nd grade all the way to 11th grade plus. So I'm going to click on 2nd grade and click generate resource. And what it's going to do, it's going to create a resource about the coral reef that's at a 2nd grade reading level. So not only does it create a passage, and you can also see where the sources are that it's pulling information from. So it'll create a little paragraph, and I click on show sources. It's giving me where they got the information. So coral.org.en, kids.nceas biomes, Florida's coral reef, Great Barrier Reef, Corals and Coral Reef Smithsonian, and Wikipedia. I can also edit the content, so I can pull in my own content if I wanted to. I can save it and I can copy it. So it gives me an adapted reading passage. And that's not all. It also gives me a quick summary, vocabulary words, and guess what? I can add my own vocabulary words. I can choose how many do you want, how many do you need? I need 3 vocab words for this specific passage. Click generate. It gives me vocabulary words, for example, coral, polyp, species threatened and protect, along with biodiversity, ecosystem, and pollution. And it gives me multiple choice questions. So I have 3 multiple choice questions. That's the default. But I can click on add more, and it asks me, well, what kind of questions do you want to add? Basic comprehension, simple reasoning, strategic thinking, or extended. I'm going to go with basic and 3 more and click generate. And it pulls more multiple choice questions. I also have short answered questions. What are coral reefs made up of? Where are coral reefs found? Why are coral reefs important? And then I have open-ended prompts, such as what are some animals and plants that you've seen in your own environment? How are they similar to the animals and plants in coral reefs? And just like with the multiple choice questions, for the short answer and the open-ended prompts, I can add more. So I can have it add a few more prompts. I can have it add different types of short answer questions. And when it's asking what kind of short answer questions, we could have the basic comprehension, simple reasoning, strategic thinking, and extended. So I'm going to have it do a simple reasoning. What are some threats to the coral reefs? So I don't know about you, but that definitely knocked my teacher socks off. I can go ahead, I can print it or save it as a PDF. I can open it with Google Docs or Google Forms, and I can share it. So I can also go ahead and add that to my resources. I can add a picture from my own device, and that is that. So that is Diffit, the first option, which was where I click literally anything, give me a topic, term, or question, and be as specific as possible, and it's going to find me a leveled resource. Next, I can do The next option under Diffit is an article. So I went to Time for Kids, stick it with the coral reef option, grabbed a URL, popped it in there on an article about coral reefs on Time for Kids magazine. Choose an appropriate reading level. I'm going to go with 6th grade and click Generate Resources. Now it's pulling up information from that article that I got from Time for Kids. And it is creating a passage, a summary, vocabulary words, multiple choice questions, short answer questions, and prompt questions. So this is such a cool resource because I can have it pull information from that students are curious about whenever I have that search for anything, or if I'm having them go to a specific website, now I can have my leveled resource. So this time when I popped in the URL, I can adjust the length so I can have it be a short passage, a medium, a long passage, or original length. I'm going to click short. It automatically did a medium sized passage for me, but I'm going to click on the short passage and it adapts that for me. So now I have my short passage about the coral reef. It shows my resources, which is Explore a Coral Reef by Time for Kids. I can edit it. I can copy it. I also have a summary, my vocabulary words, multiple choice questions based on the reading, short answer questions, and open-ended prompts. This is an amazing resource, saves me so much time as an educator. So I can copy this, I can print it, I can save it as a PDF, I can open it with Google Docs, I can open it with forms, and I can choose what I want to print. I can also adjust that reading level back. So if I have, maybe I have students reading at different grade levels, that's someone at 6th grade, someone at 3rd grade, someone at 2nd grade, I don't have to go back and recreate the wheel. I can just go right up to the top left, choose a new reading level and click regenerate. And it's going to regenerate the topic, the summary, the paragraph, the passage, the questions, the vocab words. Now it's regenerating it in a 2nd grade level. Pretty awesome. So now I can go ahead and I can just adapt whatever I need to. If I wanted to add questions or if I wanted to adjust the length, I could definitely do that. So we talked about Diffit under they have 3 tabs. We talked about the first 2, which is I can search for anything, literally anything mitosis, or I can search for, like I did, the coral reef. I can pull in an article and have it create content based on a specific reading level, or I can pull in text or an excerpt. So I can copy and paste text, pop it into their text box and have it generate a resource, or I can upload a PDF. So that is Diffit, a really awesome resource. Once you have your content created under Diffit, if you click on My Resources, that's where all your content lives. So you can always go back and see the content that you've created under My Resources. Again, you can print, you can open it with Google Docs, Google Forms, and you are good to go. So what it does, for example, if you save it to Google Forms, I am able to create a Google form based on those questions. How cool is that? So now I don't have to recreate a Google form. I have it. It gives me my passage, my summary, my key vocabulary, and it pulls all those multiple choice questions into a multiple choice form. I also have short answer responses and open-ended prompts. Amazing. All right. So that's Diffit. That's our first resource. I don't know about you, but I could spend hours over on Diffit, and I hope you try it out too for planning and prep and engaging your students in reading. This is fantastic if they're really interested in a topic, and you can adjust it for their reading level. All right, the next one we're going to do is fantastic for breaking tasks down into bite-sized pieces. As a special educator, this next tool called Goblin Tools sounds a little scary, but the goblin's super cute. Think of a little bit like Gizmo. So this tool reminds me of a task analysis. So for example, breaking things down into manageable tasks. So if I wanted to write a 5-paragraph essay, I can go to Goblin Tools, and there's several options up along the top. I'm going to go to Magic To Do. And I typed in write a 5-paragraph essay about the coral reef. I'm on a kick today. Just stick with me on here. I can click on my options here on the right side, there's a little drop down box. It gives me an estimate. How long do you think it'll take me to do this task? And if I click on the little magic wand and wave my little magic wand, it's going to break down this task into manageable pieces. So for example, write a 5-paragraph essay about the coral reef. That's what I typed in. And it says, start with an introduction to the topic of coral reefs. Okay. Now I can click estimate. It gives me an estimated amount of time, 30 minutes. And then I can break down that first step even further by clicking on the magic wand. Begin by providing background information on what coral reefs are, explain their importance to marine ecosystems, discuss the threats and challenges, highlight the need for conservation, conclude the introduction by stating the purpose and objective. All right, begin the first paragraph by discussing the importance of coral reefs and marine systems. Give me an estimate. How long is it going to take me to write that? 10 minutes. I can click on my magic wand, breaks that down even further. And each of these smaller subtasks, I can break down into more finite steps. So begin providing background information on coral reefs, introduce the topic, provide an overview, explain their significance, discuss the various components, give examples. So this is an amazing tool because you know what? I can go ahead and I can break it down even further and further. So this is fantastic for students who need help with executive functioning, for planning, how long is it going to take me to do this assignment or this task, and I can break it down. Also on Goblin Tools, I can click estimate all tasks and it gives me specific time limits for each of the different tasks that I have. So for example, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour. I can mark them as completed. I can clear my completed tasks, or I can clear the entire list. I can also go ahead and, like I said, I can break this all down, and as I check stuff off, it crosses off and I get a little satisfying little check mark next to that item. So this is fantastic to break things down. So let me go ahead and try a daily living skill. I'm going to try washing and drying clothes. Let's break it down into all the little subtasks. Wave my magic wand. First, it says sort clothes into different piles based on color and fabric. Let me break that down even further. What does that mean? Locate a pile of washed and dried clothes. Separate the clothes into smaller piles based on their colors. Divide the piles based on the type of fabric. All right. Pre-treat any stains with stain remover. Oh, I don't do that too often, but let's check out the subtask. Gather the stained clothes and stain remover detergent. Apply the stain remover detergent directly to the stains. So not only can this help us break down academic tasks, but also some of those daily living skills for our students who need that support as well. So helping with some adulting skills. That's a really neat option within Goblin Tools, is the magic to do. Another option that I'd like to show you is, it's called the compiler. So you can put all of those items that are on your to-do list and dump them into this text box essentially. And so you compile your brain dump of stuff. So I don't know about you, but I have a OneNote notebook that I just brain dump stuff like, oh, I thought about this, thought about that. I'll just have it in there. And then I'll click turn it into tasks. So I put in there, do laundry, do dishes, write a 5-paragraph essay. And then it gives me my tasks, and then I can send it to Magic To Do. And now it gives me those tasks in a checklist with broken down even further. So write a 5-paragraph essay broken down into smaller steps. Doing the dishes, broken down into smaller steps. And then I can give me an estimate for this task. And it can give me estimates now for estimate all tasks. Here we have 10 minutes, 30 minutes. So doing the laundry takes about 2 hours. Doing the dishes, 1 hour and 5 minutes. Writing my 5-paragraph essay, 5 hours and 55 minutes. That's a lot of time. But, in this outline, it's giving me research and, what I need to do to draft it, revise it, proofread it, all that stuff. So again, this is called Goblin Tools. And the two options that I want to share with you is the Magic To Do and the compiler. So that one's a really fun one. And one last one, just on the topic of special education and transition. Sometimes it's hard to come up with what can I eat for dinner, or based on what's in my fridge. So you can just write in under Goblin Tools, there's an option called Chef. So write the ingredients you have here, any dietary restrictions, serving size, time, or anything you want it to know, and it's going to suggest what you can cook, and it gives you a recipe. So let's see, I have a ground meat, bread, pickles, tomatoes, cheese, and Bisquick. What do I like to cook with the stove? And I'll do 2 servings. And suggest. So it's taking my ingredients, what I like do I like to do the microwave? Do I like to, cook on the stovetop? Do I like to use the oven? And 2 servings. And now it's giving me a recipe, ingredients, and instructions. And guess what? You guessed it. I can send that over to Magic To Do, and it breaks that task down even further. So the dish is called Cheesy Meatball Melt, and I can use all the stuff that I have here, which is great. So I think this is really neat. If you want to give it a shot, really nice for some things to think about, for organizing not only our academic skills, but also some of our daily living skills. So Goblin.Tools for the win, right? All right, so another tool to help us engage students in learning. I'm going back to my favorite, guys. I'm going back to EduAid. So EduAid, since our last podcast episode, which was in July, they have added so much to it, and I'm excited to share with you. So one thing they added is an option for post-secondary. As a professor, I am loving this option. So there's options for enrichment, science, social studies, math, language, arts. I can do essay outline. I can do a slides outline. I can have independent practice where I can type in a topic and have them create a research project, an art project, exemplar essay, reading comprehension, a supplemental worksheet. I can have them create a debate, gamification bingo style. Oh yeah, so I typed in Charlotte Danielson framework for teaching. I clicked on gamification bingo style, add to workspace. Let's see. Here's the sample bingo board. And we have all the different options for bingo. So here's a sample bingo board related to the Charlotte Danielson framework for teaching for college level students. The call sheet will contain review questions relevant to the framework. And yes, it does. Check it out. What's domain 3 of the Charlotte Danielson framework for teaching? Name 2 components of domain 4. What does component 1B focus on? Describe component 2C of the framework. And the bingo board has different numbers and letter combinations that relate to the different components. So that's pretty cool. They also have a gamification review game. Sticking with my Charlotte Danielson, and click add to workspace. Here we go, trash can toss, applying the Charlotte Danielson framework. The objective is game to reinforce knowledge of the framework. Students will answer review questions and earn points by shooting objects into an empty trash can. Like trash ball, right? We've all played this. Empty trash can, soft objects, review questions, and guess what? It gives me 20 review questions. The team with the most points at the end wins. I can also do an exercise competition, a gamification Jeopardy style, a jigsaw activity, which, you know what? Looking at this, I have done Charlotte Danielson jigsaw activities in the past. And this gives me a fantastic description. So I assign each group 1 domain of the framework and provide each group with handouts containing a brief description. Within each group, they familiarize themselves with the framework, instruct students to discuss their assigned components with their group members, and they take notes, and then they teach it to the other groups. There's more instructions there than what I'm saying, but it gives me a really nice rundown of that activity. I'm also a huge fan of Think, Pair, Shares. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to click Think, Pair, Share, add it to my workspace. Let's see what it has here. Instruct students to individually review case studies or video clips that depict various teaching situations. Ask students to think about each scenario and how it aligns with Charlotte Danielson. And then they pair up and they chat about it. And then they reflect on classified activity. Extension assigns students to write a short reflection paper on how they can apply Charlotte Danielson in the future in their classroom, encourage them to consider elements that resonate with their own philosophy. I think I'd also like them to maybe find their own examples of Charlotte Danielson, like their own video examples. All right, some other options that EduAid has is discussion prompts, matching questions, reflection questions, taxonomy scaffolding, multiple choice questions, and extension questions. I don't know about you, but EduAid has really added so much to their resources. And this is just tip of the iceberg. So I shared a few examples for engagement activities, and wow, did they really come through. And I can adjust my grade level. I can adjust my subject. I can also adjust along the top. There's several tabs, options for planning. So it can help me create a rubric, a lesson plan, specific engagement activities, a unit plan, anchor charts, slide outline, model a simple step-by-step plan to create a model that demonstrates a specific concept. I can do cooperative learning. We have our debate, our gamification with Jeopardy, bingo, review game, lab and materialist, project-based learning. I also have questions. There's so much here that really speak to engaging students with learning. And EduAid has it in spades. It's so cool. All right, friends. So the 3 tools we talked about today, Diffit, goblin.tools with the magic to do, and EduAid, EduAid.ai. Fantastic tool for you to help with your planning, your prep, engaging students in learning. Fantastic resources here, friends. And I would love to hear what kinds of AI tools you're thinking about using in your classroom this fall. What are you using? How are you using them? And how does it fit into the Danielson framework for teaching? Because why not? We're on that topic, right? So please, I would love for you guys to connect with me over on Instagram. Share your favorite AI tools. I'll be happy to check it out and do another AI tool roundup. So let's keep that fun of AI going and see how it can help support us, saving us some teacher time, taking back the burnout. Friends, this really is an awesome revolution in education and teaching, and I'm excited to hear how you're planning to use AI in your classroom or learning space. All right, friends, remember, you have the EduMagic in you. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the EduMagic New Educator Podcast. If you found it helpful, please leave a rating and review or share it with a friend. Always remember, you have the EduMagic in you.